Good morning to one and all. Today we are going to start with a new topic which is known as threads. Okay. Today we are going to start with a new concept which is called as threads. First, before going to the thread, we will learn some of the terminologies. Okay. Whenever we are going to call threads, we should know that some of the terminologies. Okay. First one is multi-threading. Do anyone have an idea about what do you mean by multi-threading? Multi-threading is nothing but where we are going to have only one program. Under that one program, we should have a number of tasks to be executed parallelly. For that, we are going to call it as a multi-threading. Multi-threading is nothing but we are going to have only one program. Under that one program, we should have a number of tasks: T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. Way for that we are going to call it as a multi-threading, and all these tasks should be executed parallelly. When they are going to execute parallelly, for that we are going to call it as a multi-threading. Okay. Next, multiprocessing. Multiprocessing is nothing but when we are executing the process simultaneously. So now the tasks are assigned for T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. All these tasks should be executed parallelly. Okay, they have to going to execute all the tasks parallelly. For that, we are going to call it as a multi-processing. Okay, when we are executing multiple multiple tasks at a times, and then going to taken care by the only the operating system. For that, we are going to call it as a multi-processing. Next, multitasking. Do anyone have an idea what you mean when multitasking? Multitasking is nothing but within one program, working is going to be done simultaneously. Example, when we are writing data in a Word, at the same time we are going to check our WhatsApp, or sorry, multitasking is nothing but when we are writing our data into a WordPad, or when we are testing some text in the WordPad, what we are going to check whether an alignment is correct or not, we are going to check. In the same task, our task is what? Writing a document, writing a text in a WordPad, in a WordPad. So in this WordPad, we are going to check whether our alignment is correct or not, grammar checking, okay, whereas spelling checking. All this is a simultaneous task for this related to your one task. For that, we are going to call it as a multitasking. Okay, multitasking is nothing but under the one program we should perform a number of tasks. Like example, writing content into your Word document. Writing the content in your Word document. When you're writing here, we are going to come up with your spell checking, grammar checking, alignment, okay, font style for different headings. Okay, another one is font size. All this we are going to check under this one single writing document. For that, we are going to call it as in multitasking. Make sure that all these three terminologies are interrelated. Make sure that all three terminologies are interrelated. Where multitasking is the feature of your multiprocessing. Multitasking is what? It is a feature of your OS. It is a feature of OS. Where multitasking for thread, what we are going to call it is a feature of your JVM. Where it is a feature of your JVM. Keep it in mind, multitasking, it is a feature of your operating system. Multiprocessing is nothing but when you have operating system, then only you can process multiple tasks. So multitasking is a feature of your OS. The same multitasking, it is a feature of your JVM. It is a feature of JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Okay, next, multitasking has been divided into two parts. One is process-based multitasking. Another one is thread-based multitasking. What do you mean by process-based multitasking and thread-based multitasking? Do anyone have an idea what do you mean by it? Well, the multitasking is being divided into two parts. One is process-based, another one is thread-based multitasking. Yes, come on, anyone? Come on. Yes, I need an answers from you people. What do you mean by process-based multitasking and thread-based multitasking? Okay. What do you mean by this process-based testing in the process-based multitasking here is when we are executing several tasks simultaneously, at that time process will get into the picture. Okay, process in the sense we are going to execute simultaneous tasks at a single time. I had given an example for that, like we are listening music at the same time we are chatting in on WhatsApp, at the same time we are looking at the surroundings. That we are going to call it as a process-based multitasking. Another way I can give you, writing a Java program in text editor, listening a music, downloading a file from the internet or a film, and Facebook chat. This is your process in the sense each task have a different work, different environment. All these works are simultaneously working with the help of your process or OS. For that, we are going to call it as an process-based multitasking. Okay, then we are coming to your thread-based multitasking. What do you mean by thread-based multitasking? See, as I have said that thread-based multitasking, where we have only one program, in that one program we are dividing the task. Example, we have a text editor. In the text editor, you are editing the text. You are editing the text at the same time you are giving for printing the document. Okay, thread-based multitasking is nothing but we have only one program. Under that one program, we are going to divide the tasks. But whereas coming to the process, we have a different environment of different tasks to execute. Is it understood? Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear for everyone? Janvi, Rakshita?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, to perform multitasking here, there are some prerequisites. What are the prerequisites? One, we should have many tasks. We should have independent tasks. Okay, at the same time, one of the tasks should be involved in third-party resources. Like sometimes when we want some extra resources through the net side. So this is your third-party resources at that time. So when we call in multitasking, must and should, we need to have these prerequisites. One is multitask. We should have a number of tasks to work on it. Another one is independent task. If you have a 10 tasks, each task should have a different environment. I mean, different tasks. They should not be dependent on another. Like example, you have a class called add. You have an add method and you have another one class called sub method. This is assigned for task 1. This is for assigned task 2, you think. Okay, I'm talking about your independent task. Add should work on their own environment and subtraction should work on its own. After completion of add, subtraction should not start working. After getting the result of an add, the subtractions should not start working. There should not be any dependency in the multitasking. They should work on independence. There should not be any dependence between the tasks. For that is a one main major advantage. We should have a prerequisite. One is independent. We should have mini tasks. One is third party resources we should have. Next, coming to your introduction part. What do you mean by thread? First, we will come up with what are the differences between process-based and thread-based. At the process-based, you can check it out. It is a heavyweight task. It is a heavyweight task because they require their own separate address space. They require own address space. Like example, I have one process. Under this process, they are going to run around 5 tasks. Like T1 should have own address space, memory, where T2 should have a different memory space, where T3 should have a memory space. Different memory spaces we require. So it is a heavy task to work on it. Now, whereas coming to your thread based, it is a lightweight based. You have one memory space. In that memory space only, if you create one task, under this task, if you have a number of tasks also, they will be given the memory only within this space only. It won't come out of your bound. Within the same address space only, they are going to be work your tasks. Now, coming to your second point of your process based, inter-process communication is expensive and limited. Inter-process communication, like when they want to access the data of your some other thing, some other processes, all these things will be very expensive and limited. In the sense, it will be delaying efficiency. All this will be applicable here. Whereas coming to your thread-based, inter-thread communication is inexpensive. Why? Because they are going to work within the same space and everything will be, some of them will be, somehow everything will be correlated. Why? Because the only one task is divided into a number of tasks. But whereas coming to your process side, all are different, independent. So for that, next, process based under the bird, we have context to switch from one process to the another is costly. Like example, context switching in the sense, suppose if you have a process 10, first time will be given for 5 process, then only the another time will be scheduled for another 10 process. Okay, next again the 5 minutes of time will be given for another process, then again the process will be switching to the another schedules. Like this is very costly. Why? Because for every 5 minutes the process is jumping for giving a time to the another tasks. So another task will be pending to execute. So next here the context switch from one process to the another process. Here I have to change it, 1 minute. Here it is low cost. Okay, context switching from one process to the another process is low cost. Why? Because within the task only everything is going to be happen. As I've said, in the thread based, I'm working in a Word document. I want to check for alignment, justification, and grammar, spelling mistakes. Everything will be going to done within the same text, so I can have a grip on everything. But here in the process based, no, we cannot have this. Next, what are the benefits of multi-threading? The first one, multi-threading enables you to write very efficient programs that make maximum use of the CPU because idle time can be kept to a minimum. Suppose multi-threading here, if you have a 5 processes can work simultaneously, so that the CPU time, working of your CPU time can be, we keep very less time. Why? Because every time a number of tasks are working. Okay, and every time, anytime any process can be executed, many processes are going to be get executed. At that time, here CPU cannot be keep idle. So we can write any efficient programs. Second, enable programmers to do multiple things at the same time. Obviously, when we are working under that, we are going to have a number of tasks. All the tasks are going to work on same time. And there are different, multiple tasks are going to be work on it. Next, third one, Here what it says in the sense where we are going to divide a program into multiple independent parts. Okay. Suppose if you have in the class, you have add method. Okay. We have subtraction method, multiplication method, and division method. These are 4 parts we have. Where this class program has been divided into 2 parts, add can work on some other things, subtraction can work in some memory, mul, and division. These one task has been divided into 4 parts and they are individual to each other to work on it. So obviously the execution speed of this particular program will be very more. So when you want to execute one program, first they have to execute add, sub, mul, div. Obviously you can think that around we may get assumption it is just a normal 10 minutes you can think, or else you can think 8 minutes to work, 2 minutes for each function. When you divide and conquer, you can check it out, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. All the all the 4 tasks are working simultaneously. Then your overall time will be only just 2 minutes to work on it. That's it. And next, simultaneous access to multiplication. Simultaneous access to multiple applications. It is not multiplication. I was thinking an example, so I have written this. So simultaneous access to multiple applications. Okay, it is multiple applications. Okay, when you want to work, we can easily access the different tasks data, or if you want to access some other resources, we can access easily when we are working simultaneously. This is all the 4 benefits of your multi-threading. Hope everyone have understood. Is it clear for everyone what are the benefits of your multi-threading?
Yes, sir.
Do anyone have a doubts? Next, coming to the actual part of your thread. What do you mean by thread? It's just simple. Thread is a lightweight process. It is a small unit of processing. Okay, lightweight, why we had called, we had seen in the previous differences between your process based and thread based. The same way we can call it as your lightweight process. And where each thread are going to be work on small unit of work. And next, how to create a multiple jobs. How to create threads. How to create threads. There are 2 ways to create. One, with extending the threads and override the run. So you have a thread method. Under the thread class, you have one method which is called as run. So when you extend the run, we have to override this particular method. So there are 2 ways I have said. One is extending the threads. Another one way is implements of your runnable. Where runnable is your interface, thread is in class. Where this is a class, where this is interface. Okay, again under the interface, again we have another one method which is called as run method. Okay, again under this thread class, we have again a run method. Okay, don't worry why it implements and threads. I'll explain for what reason we have used this. Okay, there are 2 ways. One is thread extensing of your thread class. Another one is implementing of your runnable. In both the concepts, we should have a run method. Without run method, your program doesn't work for your threads. Next, only 2 placeholders to run the thread. 2 placeholders in the sense where you can execute your run method. One either is in your main. One will be your main method. Another one is your run method. Next, first, hello. Yes, do anyone have a doubts?
Sir, what is the use of override? What will override do, sir?
Yes, that's what we will See in the coming examples.
Okay, sir.
See, okay. First, what we should do, I'll explaining about how to extend a thread class and how to use your run method. Okay. Here, you can check it out. I have created a class called Bingo. Here I have created a class called Bingo. For this Bingo T class, I have extended the thread. For Bingo class, we have extended a thread class. Whenever you extend a thread class, automatically you have to override your run method. You have to override a run method. Now you will get a doubt why we should, for what reason I have to override this run method? What content I can put it in the run method? Blindly, whatever the statements you want to execute with the thread, you have to put it in the run. Understood? Someone has asked me, doubt, sir, for what reason we have to override the run method? Why we have to override in the sense, if you want to execute a thread, must and should, you have to override the run method. Within the run method, whatever the statements you want to execute, all the statements you have to put it in the run method only. Is it clear? Yes, is it clear? Someone has asked me a question that why we have to use a run method. May I know who have asked that question? Okay, Rakshita, hope you have understood. Okay. Next, I have created a class, I have written a run method. How should I execute that run method? How should I call run method? Usually in normal, when you're creating objects, by using a object, by example, reference of your Bingo class, we used to call any method. But make sure whenever you're executing a thread, we should call a run method with a different name. Now we will come to this part. Now we will come to this part. Now thread, I have created a tester class called which is test thread. Under this I have a main method. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create Bingo object. Okay, I'm going to create an object for class called Bingo T. Now I have to call run method. When I call run method, how to call this run method in the sense using the reference variable. Using the reference of variable of a Bingo class, and then you have to call dot start. There is a method called start method. When you call start method, automatically it will jumps to your run method and it starts executing. If you call b.run, no, nothing will get you. You're going to get execute. If you want to execute your run method, must and should, you have to call b.start method only. After calling of your run method, I have for another one's looping system. Okay. Now, can anyone say me how many threads are working here? How many threads are working? How the system, how the JVM will get to know, okay, how should I work on parallelly? Nothing. Simple. Okay, class test thread, it will go on, come to you this point, and it comes here. Okay, now it's execute, it creates an object of that. Now b.start, it says, okay, it will jump to this and it starts executing. When the JVM sees that b.start, automatically it will get into your mind, okay, this is a thread part. So this is a thread concept based program. So what it do? The one control will be moved to your run. Another control will be go on executing of your for loop. One control will be completely shifted to your run method. Another one control will be in the main method and it will be starting executing of your another statements which are there below the b dot start method. Is it clear how the program runs? Is it clear how the program runs? Do anyone have a doubts how the program runs? If anyone who have a doubts, you can ask me. I'll explain it once again. I need an answers from you people. Rohan Kote, have you understood the concept? How the program works with the thread concept? Okay, now we will come to the executional part. Okay, now I'll create one class under this here, source, new class, bingo T. Just I'll create finish. Now within this class, what I'm going to call, I'm going to extend which class? I'm going to extend which class?
Threads, sir.
Yes, thread class I'm going to extend. So now you can check it out here. Once I have extended thread class, automatically we have to override a method called run. So public void run method. Once we have called a run method, now I'll create one for loop for int I is equal to 0, I less than 50, I plus plus. Now system dot out dot println I am in bingo T class space plus I. I'll give semicolon. That's it. Save this bingo T class. Now we will create another one tester class. Now here new class name called here. I'll call tester bingo T. Public static void main I'll create. Okay. Now here. Now under this, what I have, if I want to call a run method of your bingo, first we have to create an object of bingo class. So bingo T B is equal to new bingo T open and close parenthesis. So if I want to call run method, there is a special way to call the run method. So b dot start. See, already we have got it. See. So now for another one for loop, I'm going to create for int I is equal to 0, I less than 50, I plus plus. Under this again, system dot out dot println, I'm in tester bingo class. So then I'll write I'm in main method. I'll give semicolon. That's it. Save the code. Now, do anyone have an idea when I execute the code, what will be your output? I need an answer here now. When I execute the code, what will be your output? Whether first bingo T class will execute or first tester class will execute or parallelly will execute. Rakshita, Janvi, Trupti, Prakruti, parallelly. If I get in parallelly, what will be your output? What will be your output? First bingo class, later main method class, or else first main method class or bingo class or mixing, what will be your output when I execute the code? Parallel is correct. First bingo, then main. Okay, Rakshita. Any other answers? Ranjit, Spashit Raj, Yash Kumar, Ashish. Okay, first I'll execute and check. My answer will be, the answer can be in the form of mixed format. The answer can be in the form of mixed format. I cannot predict how the output will be here. Why? Because b dot start, when I call that main thread will be going to be get executed parallelly. Apart from that run method, this the second from the 10th line to 13th line will be executing parallelly. Which method will print first? We don't know. First we have to check it out now. So when I call run method, now it is here. I think serious bingo T class, bingo T class. Okay. See here, you can check it out. Here it is, first it had executed main method. After the main method, some time it has been assigned for bingo T class. It has been assigned to bingo T class. Later again it is assigned to some part for main method. Again completely it is assigned to bingo class. Now we will once again will run and we will check. Again what it got it here. See now, earlier we used to got for some time. Now you can check it out here. Now you check it out. First two times it has been executed main method. Later it has executed bingo T class, and later it has executed main method. After that 2 seconds or 3 seconds it has been assigned for bingo T. Later again main method. Here you can check it out bingo T class. Here you can check it out bingo T class. And again main method, again bingo T class. Again we will run and we will check how we will get, we don't know. See now, we got bingo T class first, bingo main method, only one time it has been executed in between bingo T class. That's it. Again, if I run, how it will be print, I don't know. Okay, now you can check it out. For first time, sometime have been bingo T class is executed, later some part, and later it is some part. But more the tasks are parallelly working on it. Students, everyone have understood how this concept will work? Extends thread concept. Students, have you understood? Kindly let me know whether you have understood or not. Janvi, Trupti, Lakhan, Ashish. Yes, Rakshita.
Sir, if this thread and main both are executing simultaneously, if, for example, I'm depending on thread for some value,
Okay.
then that wouldn't be helpful, no, sir. It'll just spoil the program.
No, Rakshita. There is one statement to wait for thread executing. Until you execute the another thread, this thread won't start. Okay. Like example, I'll show for a few minutes. I mean, for just for you understanding, I'll show here. There is a statement called thread dot sleep. Okay, here I'll give some 4,000. Sorry, 4,000 is very cost. 2,000 milliseconds. I'll save the code. Now here it is an error. It should be around a throws declaration. I'll write. Okay. Whenever you use thread.sleep, you should be surrounded with try catch rather than I have made use of throws. So now what it will happen, we will see. If you want to execute this, this has to execute first. After executing, this will wait for 2000 milliseconds. Now you can check it out here. See here, first bingo T class is executed. Okay. Later again main method is executed. Rakshita, have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Suppose if I stop this, both will run parallelly. We don't know what will be your output. Run the code. Now you check it out. Main method, bingo, main method, main method. Again, I have bingo and main method. This will be execution of this code. We don't know when you make use of thread how the thread will be going to execute. Okay. Hope everyone have cleared the
Sir,
threads concept.
sir,
Yes, Rakshita.
can threads return values?
Okay, thread can return a value. I haven't tried this every time, but I'll try it out for this now. I'll try now. Here after this, I'll return it. Okay, return A. Sorry, return 5. I'll write it. Here I'll change it to, I think actually it is in run method, but I'll try it out. Okay, return type to what? Okay, actually what it has happened in the thread class, it is don't have a return value. Why? Because in the thread class, what you have declared, it is of void type only, Rakshita. Public void run only. You cannot return it.
Okay, sir. And
Okay, you
it can
cannot
have
return.
only run method, no, sir?
Yes, it can have only run method.
It cannot have any other methods which are user defined.
Here you can have it. See, after the run method, you can have a number of methods in the bingo class. There is no any rule that only you should have a only run method only. So I'll execute here public void display. Okay. Now here what I'll do, system dot out dot println. Sorry. System dot out dot println. Okay. I'm going to display in bingo P class. Give semicolon. But make sure that when you call b.start method, this start method will point out only run method. It won't come and call display method. Okay, when you want to call display method explicitly, so what should you do? Go to your tester class. Here you have to call b.display method. Then it will execute. Otherwise, it won't execute, Rakshita.
Okay, sir.
Explicitly you have to call, but make sure that when you call b.start, by default start will point to your only run method. Apart
Yes,
from
sir.
run method, start method won't turn your head and it will check what is there in the side. It will directly jump your run and it will execute only the run method. Okay, now I'll save it and I'll run the code. Now you can check it out here somewhere. It will be, see, I'm going to bingo class in the T class. So I have explicitly called and I have executed here. So if I given comment, now we will check whether the start method will call your display method or not. That also I'll show for you. Now I'll run the code. Now you can check it out. So here, nowhere your bingo display method is called. Why? Because it is not in the run method. Yes. Rakshita, have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Is it your doubt is clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, now we will jump to your implements. Now we will jump to implements. When you make use of implements, just you have to change the calling of your method. That's it. Calling. Here this you have to change it. Now what I'll do for the same class, I'll remove the extents. What I'll do implements runnable. Implements runnable. In the runnable also, you have an abstract method which is called as run. So now we didn't got an error. Why? Because we have already defined a run method. Okay, now this is done. Now I'll go back to this test bingo. First, you have to create an object for bingo class. Now what you have to do here, now after creating an object for bingo class, now you have to create an object for thread class also. Thread is equal to new thread of. For this thread class, in the thread parameter, you have to pass and reference of your object bingo class. We have to pass a reference of your bingo class. And then you are going to call with t.start. Then your program will execute. That is the only one difference we have calling here. Bingo TB. First, we have to create an object for your bingo class. Later, we have to create an object for thread class. Okay, with the using of a thread class, we have to pass bingo class object reference. Bingo class object reference for the thread class. Using your t.start, again it will work. Why? Because this thread have the start method only. Why? Because you have called your implements in the sense runnable. Runnable will have only abstract methods. So it cannot call this. So when I call this, automatically it will execute your code. You can check it out here. First, I think bingo is executed somewhere. Bingo here, it is executed main method, bingo main method, and bingo it is executed. Now what I'll do here, see how the structure has been defined here in the sense, if you call suppose if you call a bingo class, if you extends thread, if you extends thread, it will go to this and it will call thread class. Again, under the thread, it have implements runnable. Again, it have implements runnable. So internal structure will be like this. If you call extends threads, bingo will call threads. Threads internally will call runnable. If you call bingo implements runnable, directly it will call this. So we are not going to have a start method. The start which is related to your thread class. So when you want to execute a run method, must and should you should have a thread. So first we are going to create an object for bingo class. Then we are going to create an object of thread class. For that thread, we are passing an bingo reference. So it will automatically call that, okay, I have to call start method, which is present in this particular class. Internally, it will be explained like this. Students, have you understood? Is it clear for you how the internal structure goes for bingo class to the thread, threads to the implement? When we have to call implements, how to call and run method? Hope everyone have understood. Kindly let me know your opinion in the chat box. So kindly let me know your opinion in the chat boxes.
Sir, is runnable a class? Sir?
Runnable is an interface.
Yes, sir.
Thread is a class, runnable is an interface. Hope everyone have understood the concepts now. Now let's jump into the another concepts. Now this is your implements runnable. The same code, you can check it out here what I have done here, the same way there I have done. Now Now you can get it out. What is the difference between your thread and runnable? Okay, I have done some categories here. One is the basic part. When you make use of a thread concept, here each thread creates a unique object and get associated with it. Whereas coming to your runnable, multiple threads share the same object. Memory. Here what it happens, you can check it out, as each thread creates an unique object and memory required. Whereas coming to your runnable, multiple threads share the same object, less memory is used. In the sense, when we going to create an n number of tasks in the thread part, for each thread, one memory is going to get created. But whereas coming for runnable, we are going to acquire only one single thread. Under that, we are going to have n number of this, and less memory is going to be used here. Whereas coming to the second part, extending. This is one of the most important differences between your thread and runnable. Okay, as I have said that when you're going to extend threads class, has the inheritance concept says that you can extend only one class. You cannot extend more than one class. So when you make use of thread, automatically you cannot extend another one class. Here there is one disadvantage. But when you make use of your runnable interface, you can implement along with you can extend. So when you make use of an implement, there is a chance of extending the class also. So most of the times we are going to make use of runnable so that I can have a chance of extending the another one class if you have any feature to add that. Okay, this is the one major difference here. And next, uses. Just have a read this. It isn't simple. If you have any doubts, you can ask me here. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, now that's it for the day. We'll continue in the next class. Thank you. Don't leave.